Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. One of the things that makes summer in St. Andrews so special is the incredible mix of history, natural beauty, and culture that comes together in our community. Few places capture that better than Minister's Island, where visitors can cross the ocean floor at low tide to explore one of Canada's most fascinating historic sites. But in recent years, the island has become known for something else as well. Unforgettable live performances, from award-winning musicians and intimate songwriter circles to classical music performances. The Minister's Island concert series has grown into one of the region's most unique cultural experiences. Here to tell us about what's in store for 2026 is Jamie Steel of Periwinkle Productions. Thank you so much, Jamie, for coming into the studio today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Vicki. I appreciate it. It's always fun to be here.
Well, for people who haven't experienced a concert on Minister's Island, how do you explain the concept?
Well, I mean, as you indicated in your intro, Minister's Island is unique because you have to wait until the tides fall in order to drive across to the island. The only access is by, well, I guess you could go by boat, but there really aren't any docking facilities over there. You could swim, but it's usually pretty cold and probably not advisable. And or you can drive once the tide goes out. It exposes the Bar Road, and yeah, for a window, a 5 to 6 hour window, we can cross and enjoy what's happening on the island. And over the last 12, 13 years, we've been lucky enough to have music concerts there, and it's been fun for me to help organize that and sort of find the talent and produce the concerts.
Before we get into this year's lineup, tell us a little bit about how challenging it might be to plan a concert series around the tide.
Right. So obviously, we're not a big production program. It's small, intimate. It usually involves solo, duo, trio acts, more acoustic-based stuff, so that it's easier to set up, easier to sound check, and then easier to take down the equipment after a show. And that's great because it means that, you know, the stage is you know, elevated maybe a foot. The audiences are close to the performers, and it's a really intimate setting within the tent on the island. And of course, you know, weather is usually good, and even if it's raining, the sides of the tent are open, and you have these wonderful views of Passamaquoddy Bay and across the lawns of Cove and Hoven and whatnot. So it's yeah, it's just a really unique experience, and all the artists who come, you know, in part love doing it because of that whole mystique of crossing, you know, when it's low tide and the chance of being stuck on the island, which of course has never happened, but we like to you know, to pull the string every once in a while.
How does the island itself and that backdrop become part of the performance, part of the mystique of the show?
Well, I mean, you know, we're basically outdoors. Minister's Island is a great setting. I mean, you're looking, you know, to the left, out beyond the tent is, you know, towards the north, towards you know, the mouth of the Digwash River. You know, to the right is the house and the lawns towards the St. Andrews Peninsula. You know, it's just and the trees, the rustling of the leaves, and it is just a, you know, a relaxing, beautiful setting. And you know, every single artist who performs makes comment about, you know, how beautiful it is and what a unique and wonderful experience it is to be performing on an island in such a setting.
The lineup for 2026, as in other years, is very diverse, from classical music to contemporary songwriters. Tell us a little bit about what's in store for 2026.
Right. So yeah, we have what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 musical performances this summer. And yes, as you said, varying from classical, St. John's String Quartet, to jazz, Bill Stevenson, to Songwriter Circle, an all-female cast and a Songwriter Circle this year, to some world music, which that show will include our own Ryan LeBlanc with a band blending North African and Acadian music, Buhala from Moncton and Isaac and Blewett, all three together, to multiple Juno Award winners like Catherine McCullen and Dave Gunning, and country and country roots from Mike Chase Trio, who will be performing the very last show in association with Ministers Island's Farm Fest, which happens near the end of September, to the opening act this year, which is Charlotte County's own Chickahominy Mountain Band, so which will be a rip-roaring, toe-tapping, hand-clapping, a face-grinning good time. So.
And when does that kick off?
So, concerts kick off this Sunday, June 28th, at 5 p.m. Most of the shows this season, as in the past, are on the same day pretty much every other week. So Sunday afternoons or early evenings, we have most of the shows taking place. There are a couple which, again, because of tides or scheduling on the island, had to be on a different date. But I can go through those dates if you'd like. So as I said, Chickahominy Mountain Band, June 28th, and then the following week, the following Friday, July 3rd, is our classical performance with the St. John String Quartet. We've had the quartet on the island a number of times. This year, I think it's a different ensemble in that three of the members are new to the quartet, and so it'll be wonderful to welcome these newbies to the island. And we always have that show in the bathhouse, which is just an incredible venue, just acoustically pristine, and the rotunda itself, round glass. You see almost 360 degrees of the bay, and just a very, very special place to see a concert. But of course, it's not as big as the tent, so we only are able to sell 50 tickets to that show. So it's a very, very special event whenever we do something in the garden or in the bathhouse. So that's July the 3rd, and it's a later start. It's starting at 8 p.m., I think. All of these dates and times are on the Ministers Island website, but I'll mention what I can as we move through. And then from classical, we come to East Coast singer-songwriter, and one of the region's best and certainly one of the country's best troubadours and songwriters and storytellers, Dave Gunning, who is really no stranger to St. Andrews. He's played a number of times here in the past, and he's just a sweetheart of a man and an incredible musician. And I'm sure he'll be playing a lot of favorites, but his most recent album was recorded in Australia. He's huge in Australia, and I think he'll be bringing many of those tunes to the stage at Ministers Island. It's his first time playing the island, so it'll be a treat for him, and it'll be interesting to see what he has to say. Moving through to the end of July, so that Dave Gunning show is Sunday, July 12th, and then the Saturday, July 25th. So here's one of these shows that's a little bit different. Is we're doing sort of a trio of artists playing what I really call world music, I guess. Our own Ryan LeBlanc, who's an incredible instrumental guitar player who's toured internationally and has played with, he's opened for Oliver Jones, who was Oscar Peterson's protege. He's opened for Grammy Award-winning banjo player Alison Brown. He's been hailed by J.P. Cormier as the best thing he's seen in years. I mean, Ryan, as humble as he is, has a solid place in the East Coast music community. Anyway, he'll be part of a trio of acts, also including Isaac and Blewett, who are a favorite, cello and hollow body electric guitar, Jim Blewett, and a duo from Moncton, Buhala, who were here during Paddlefest. It's a Moroccan fellow and a Moncton percussionist who have come together to create these really wonderful North African sort of meets Acadia sound. So each performer will play some stuff solo, and then each performer will play with each other performer a tune or two, and then by the end of it they'll all be playing together. So it'll be quite an interesting and wonderful show. So that's July, and heck, that's only half the program. So we move into August, and on Sunday, August 9th, I've got an all-female cast doing a songwriter's circle, or maybe triangle. It's 3 women. Jessica Ray from St. John, who's again an award-winning singer-songwriter. Hilary Ladd, who again St. John-based singer-songwriter, who has performed locally a number of times, and Acadian guitar wizard and a really wonderful soul, Maggie Savoie, again, who has been to St. Andrews and performed a number of times, and on Minister's Island a number of years ago. So looking forward to seeing that combination of individuals together, because they all bring something a little different to the stage, which will be just wonderful to hear. And I don't know that they've ever been on stage together before. So again, that's really something that we're able to do sometimes to add to the mystique and uniqueness of this concert series. And then August 23rd, I have Catherine McClellan coming back. Catherine is a multiple Juno Award winner, a multiple Canadian Folk Music Award winner. Just a wonderful individual. And she asked if she might bring with her a new friend, an artist from the United Kingdom, Lucy Farrell. And in doing some of the reading about Lucy, she's one of the BBC's favorite performers, and I've sort of have been labeling her the UK's version of Catherine McClellan. So it'll be interesting to see the two of them together. They've done a few shows together on Prince Edward Island. Lucy not only plays guitar but also fiddle. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure because Catherine suggested it, that it'll be a fun time. And then moving into September, Bill Stevenson, September 6th, again Sunday, September 6th, Bill Stevenson will bring his just wealth of music knowledge and expertise and catalog to us, everything from blues, jazz to swing. Bill is just a treasure trove of music and musical history. I've been doing a little bit of a retrospective, I guess, of my time at Salty Towers and talking to a lot of musicians about their experiences there. And more often than not, someone will, or a musician will comment about the time they were able to be in the same room as Bill Stevenson and hear him play and talk about music. I mean, he's just a charm. And the last couple of times we've had him here, we've had him with, at the request of Joel Plaskett, and before that, at the request of Bahamas, Afi Juvenin. Bill's the real deal, and really a treasure. Mm-hmm. And then to cap things off, in association with the island's Farm Fest on September the 20th, again Sunday, September 20th, we'll have again another Charlotte County artist, Mike Chase, and a trio of that he's put together to come and play to that theme of Farm Fest. So some good, country roots music, and probably a little bit of East Coast flair in there too. Mike loves to do that kind of thing. So yeah, a wonderful program, bookended by 2 Charlotte County artists. So really looking forward to the music components.
I was lucky enough to be at the Bill Stevenson and Joel Plaskett show that you put together at the Huntsman. And what is so incredible, though, Jamie, is how you put artists together and bring them into a space where you hear something that really you've never heard before.
Right.
How do you pair artists? What goes into preparing for a show like that? It's not like booking a normal concert, which I think is the coolest part about it. And on top of this, now you're adding in the setting of Minister's Island and the tide.
Yeah. I mean, usually, as I said, it's not always me as a presenter thinking about what might work together. Sometimes it's the artists who, have an idea for a project or have started a project and are looking for places to, for that project to perform. So, so Catherine McCullum, as I mentioned, and Lucy Farrell, I mean, that was Catherine's idea. I'd been told that Catherine's niece is an emerging young songwriter, and it might be fun to have her come and play. And I queried Catherine about that, and she was keen about it, but she really wanted to sort of showcase Lucy, who, has I think, if I'm not mistaken, has actually moved to PEI and is spending more and more time here, but. A little bit more experience, and I just felt Catherine has been to the island before, and I think maybe just in her wisdom thought that it might be a better match for what we were doing. The Ryan LeBlanc, Buhala, Isaac and Blewett combo is something that came about because all these musicians know one another from years and years of touring and playing, various festivals together and crossing paths here and there. And it was Chris Mercereau from Buhala who actually produced one of Ryan's albums a number of years ago and was, a little put off that Ryan wasn't playing a lot and said, we've got to get you back out and performing. And so he put together this combo, and they performed a number of shows in the spring. And I went to one of those and thought, we could do this on the island. So offered that to them, and they were really keen to do it, just because they had so much fun, playing in those shows and in that format and mixing and matching. So sometimes it takes a familiarity, to bring people together and to have them say yes to doing something. The songwriter circle, I mean, as I mentioned, these women I don't think have ever spent any time on stage together, but they may well know of one another. And in a circle, it's typically individuals, singing their songs, telling stories about their songs, and sometimes there's some magic that happens where there's some cross-pollination. But if nothing else, it's an opportunity for these musicians just to get to know one another, and I think that's part of the reason for saying yes sometimes, just because they haven't done something with those people, and they feel, in this type of environment that that it's going to be safe and comfortable, and sometimes it doesn't matter if you make some mistakes. St. Andrews has been wonderful that way, and that's been another sort of reflection of many musicians, is that musicians coming to St. Andrews feel that they can do something new, because audiences are willing to listen. Critical to a point, but people tend not to get up and walk out or anything like that. So it's St. Andrews has become that safe haven for musicians, which is wonderful.
And it's really part of the magic, is to see musicians come together and almost it's the unknown of
Right.
what they create, that you can feel it in the room, that this is exciting for them too. It's not their typical set list.
Yeah.
When you talk about a musician as well known as Dave Gunning, who's never played the island before, what was the appeal to him when you proposed the idea of coming over? Why did he want to book an island gig?
I think he knows St. Andrews. He loves St. Andrews. It's a different venue for him. I think any performer is keen to play a new venue, especially when you're going to a place where you're pretty much assured that it's going to be a listening audience, a welcoming audience. You know, the series has developed a little bit of cachet over the years. You know, I mentioned it to him. He said, "Yeah, no, I've heard lots about it. I've never done it, so let's do it." I mean, you know, he likes coming to St. Andrews. His wife's from Hampton, so you know, it gives him a chance to see the in-laws and possibly have them come to the show. You know, I mean, he's touring in Europe and Australia and across the country, and you know, sometimes family just can't come to those sorts of things. So you know, that's a reason. And I also sort of baited him a little bit because I mentioned that, you know, you bring your wife, bring Sarah, and you know, stay an extra night. We'll put you out at the lake next to Ryan LeBlanc, who Dave and Ryan have crossed paths together on a number of occasions. And one of the most memorable was at the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, where they both performed and had a wonderful time together. So they've developed a friendship. So Dave has, you know, those musical friendships here in town too, which helps, I guess.
What's the feedback that you get? I know that it draws many locals, but also draws a lot of visitors to the island. What's the feedback you get from the audience in terms of not just seeing the musical act, but having access to this historic site as well?
Yeah, I mean, people appreciate that. I mean, you come to the concert, you're usually able to get onto the island. I mean, we have to get onto the island an hour and a half, 2 hours before the show just to set up. So, you know, the island is open usually. For, you know, during every show, so there's opportunity for people to explore as well. So you're not only you're coming to the concert, but you're able to access the buildings. And if you haven't been, that's an added bonus. And yeah, many people who come who haven't been before wonder why they haven't been before. And yeah, it's always been, you know, really very, very positive, and just you know, people wishing they had known, you know, years ago about the island and what was happening here. So hopefully, what that means is that they're coming back. And I mean, Minister's Island sells the tickets. They have all that information. I've noticed over the years of doing concerts in general that you know, fewer and fewer faces are familiar to me. I mean, there was a time when I'd present a show and I'd know 80% of the people in the audience or 90% of the people in the audience. And now, you know, that's not the case anymore. So it's proof that, you know, we are drawing from a wider and wider area. So.
I know, and you know, as a local, sometimes you don't go and experience what you've experienced before, so it gives you a reason to go to the island and remember just how special a place it is, and remind you to go back, even not just for the concert, but for a hike or a tour.
Yeah, hiking, yeah, I mean, it's amazing, you know, the trails. And I mean, I've been over there and, you know, on the trails, and very rarely do you see anybody else. I mean, it's the buildings, the historical artifacts, the physical man-made things that people, you know, tend to be attracted to. But no, if you do have a chance to go and even take a short walk on one of the trails, you know, it's so worth it.
And just the best place for that natural air conditioning in summer too.
Yeah, no, I mean, the island, you know, does a variety, and I should mention there are a few other events that are happening too, listed in their event calendar, that aren't necessarily music. They've got a magician coming this year, so trying to broaden their audience too, making things a little maybe family or youth friendly. But Vincenzio Rivera from Halifax is coming to do a show on the, I'm not sure, after the Dave Gunning show, anyway, a week after Dave Gunning's show. But this guy was you know, on Canada's Got Talent, and has actually performed in Las Vegas for Penn and Teller, who are huge. So it'll be interesting to see that. And you know, again, it'll take place in the tent, so it's not going to be a big production. He's not going to be pulling lions out of thin air, but it'll be close up, you know, in your face sort of magic, which always amazes me. And then later on in the summer, the St. Andrews Pipe Band from Fredericton. So bagpipes and drums, and I mean this band has got its start back in the 1920s, and I think 3 pipers and 3 drummers, and now I think there are multiple variations of the band that play, you know, a lot of parades and festivals around the province and internationally. I mean, they compete, you know, all over North America and have been overseas as well. So that will be you know, something to see. I imagine they'll be doing something on the lawns and on the island. And then Saturday, September 12th, they're having a wellness evening in the bathhouse. So some drum circle, I think, some rhythm stuff, some breathing exercises, and then a sound bath, I guess it's called, where we're having an individual, Dana Planeta of rhythms and sound therapy will be coming and creating all kinds of interesting sounds through singing bowls and tuning forks and whatnot. And all of this is restorative, calming, you know, wellness activities, just trying to get people to get in touch with their own body rhythms and the world around them, and, you know.
With so many high-profile artists, and also some of the venues, like in the bathhouse, having limited seating, I imagine that getting tickets early is preferable. How do people book tickets, and should they be booking, let's say, right now?
I'd book as soon as you can, because oftentimes people are sorry at the end. So there are 3 ways of booking. You can go online, www.ministersisland.net/concerts, and purchase online. It's quite easy to do. You can visit their storefront, which is at 159 Water Street, downtown, or you can call Ministers Island.
Well, we are so blessed to have an icon like Jamie Steel in our community to bring us this magic year after year. So thank you so much, Jamie, for coming in today and for all that you do to make us a more beautiful place.
Thanks.
My guest today has been Jamie Steel of Periwinkle Productions. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.